Hi guys, welcome to the Craft Beer channel and welcome to Uppers and Downers, which we trailed last week and called it Tired and Wired, and we already are. I had the shakes and poured coffee on me within moments of arriving. I'm stood here with two of the brewers from Siren who last year made one of my beers of the year, which was Turkish, which is a coffee imperial stout and part of the barista range of beers that you guys do annually. Is that right? Yeah. So we come down here, it's the launch today of those beers, so we're going to give them a go and talk to the brewers about how they made it. So I'm here with Sean and with Rich. Tell me a little bit about the Barista Project, how it got started and why you think coffee and beer are a good match.
Obviously coffee has gone maybe traditionally in like stouts in terms of craft beer. A lot of people have been doing that for a while and people are pushing the boundaries in all kinds of different areas, and I guess we thought that coffee could do a lot more than just say provide like roasted notes. So we decided to come up with a lot of different recipes that accentuated different elements of coffee.
So we talked about the fact that coffee and beer have a lot of synergies, going corporate for a second there, like the way that like there's roasted ingredients, there's also lots of fruitiness, acidity, different things you can get out of a coffee bean, and actually coffee's kind of got a bit fruitier, lower roast, in the same way that maybe we've gone for New England stuff in brewing. There's a trend that's the same as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's got a lot in common with the way that malt's made. Different degrees of roast provide like your different flavors. You can go for like a French roast, which is similar to, like a roast barley or a black malt, right down to, is it like a city roast, which is more like the fruity, sort of cinnamony end, so more akin to like aromatic malt, or even like lager if you go like really light.
Well, let's get stuck into this year's. I've been sampling a little bit, which in fact is mostly down my t-shirt right now. Where should we start with this year's range of baristas?
Well, I think we should start with cold brew.
Yep.
So it's probably like the simplest. It's a Schwarzbier. It's got some cold infused coffee put into it. Often people go for a stout style because it's easier to strike a balance with the strong flavors. We wanted to do something that was almost the antithesis of that. So go for like a smoother, less in-your-face coffee style, and a beer that would like match up with that very well.
The coffee's very subtle, it's earthy, and there's maybe a tiny bit of acidity coming from it. I feel like it's a really light Schwarzbier, whereas in Germany it might be, I think they really pack out the body when they do them. So it's a bit like a fizzy cold brew, it's really refreshing.
Yeah, we wanted it to have a lot of drinkability, so Kit, the brewer that designed that beer, he wanted the sort of the dryness that you get with a lager, just because it's like really sessionable, and it goes against the convention of putting it in stouts, like Rich was saying. So he wanted it to be a beer that you could think about drinking 2/3 or a pint of, rather than just something you would have in a small glass, or something that you would go back to almost to be a bit of a session beer, whereas a lot of these coffee beers are like tasting beers, things that you would have a subtle amount of.
It's been a bit of a saving grace. Having had Coffee Death, which is a 12% imperial stout with coffee from Northern Monk, I just turned around and went, there's a lager over there, I love that one. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. And it's begging for a handle glass in a German beer garden. It's a lovely beer. So affogato is ice cream and coffee. It's an Italian dessert, right?
Yeah.
So what you wouldn't expect is a blonde beer. So tell me about this one.
Yeah, I mean, we did a blonde beer. We thought it with the pale malt would work really well with the flavours and let the vanilla and the coffee come through and do a lot of the work. And obviously you associate like biscuit malt with like pale beer, and it's got that kind of wafery biscuity edge that sits on that flavour base. So that kind of all works together in that sense. So I think that's kind of where we were going with it.
So there's coffee, vanilla, and lactose, I guess?
Yeah, the lactose again, it adds a bit of sweetness, gives it some creamier feel again, because it's meant to have that like ice cream dessert kind of vibe going on. So
yeah, I mean, it's definitely got that. It's not got a big coffee vibe, but what it's got is a really deliciously Moorish kind of, I guess, roasty nose, which is just completely at odds with the look of the beer. And you see people wandering around with a blonde beer at a coffee festival, and it still blows my mind, even though I know exactly why and how.
You still got the coffee on the nose, like you say, that kind of earthy note, and it's kind of like a background flavour when you're tasting it, but it's quite a pronounced background flavour that goes with the vanilla, which I think we feel is a pretty accurate reflection of what an affogato would be like.
It's somewhere between an affogato. It's like an affogato, but made with a mini milk. If you remember those as a kid, that's what I'm getting from that, and it's nostalgic and it's very adult. It's great. So you've thrown another colour at me, which I guess that comes from the hibiscus in cafe. Yeah. So what is hibiscus, I guess, for people that don't know exactly?
It's a flower that turns into a sort of fleshy fruit.
Right.
It's got like a very distinctive, like tart floral flavour to it, and obviously it imparts this like brilliant red colour.
It's in a lot of tea as well, so it's known for going into hot water and releasing all kinds of lovely aromas. And what about the coffee?
This is a South American coffee, and it's designed. It's a very fruity coffee. Because obviously, rather than that kind of rich, roasty, earthy notes, we thought, get a coffee that is got a lot of fruit and berry flavour, because it would really work well with the hibiscus, and also goes really well with the sour style beer anyway, sort of fruit and tart. If you think of like lambics and
it's got a big floral nose and a real tang to it, which I think is the hibiscus, but you can tell there's a more savoury herbal thing that's probably coming from the coffee in there. And what's the base beer? Has it been soured at all, or is that?
It's a kettle sour, so it's 6.2, I think. So it's half again as strong as say a Calypso, which is about 4. But it's the same kettle sour process that we would do for our Calypso, our core sour. Just ramped up, a bit bigger, and then obviously the fruit additions in the coffee to give it more layers and complexity.
Yeah. And there's literally no bitterness to this beer at all. Were there hops in the mix, or?
There's like a small dry hop, but there's no kettle hopping at all. Like in our sour beers, all we do is put it in like post fermentation.
It's an absolute banger. It's like, it really shows what you can do with coffee and the places you can take it that you'd never really expect a coffee bean to be able to achieve those flavours. Well, we're back in the coffee lovers' comfort zone, and then maybe back out the other end with this massive viscous thing. So this is breakfast shake.
The concept came from our brewer Sam, who sometimes has a breakfast smoothie with coffee and banana and chocolate, and so he dreamt up this beer based on his morning.
Is that really breakfast? That sounds like dessert.
Well, it's from the north. There's a Geordie, so apparently that's what they do up there. That was his thing, and yeah, he wanted to use the Schwarzbier yeast to get the banana in rather than putting actual bananas in.
It's got that dunkelweiss, banana-y, clovey kind of thing going on.
It's got a lot of chocolate and a lot of coffee as well. So there's a lot working together. So you can really, it's a sort of beer where you really, the more you taste it, the more different notes you find in it. But yeah, we think it's come out really well. We're really happy with it.
It's hugely complex, and it's probably been served a little bit cold as well. So I feel like as it warms up, it's going to release all kinds of stuff, particularly that banana clove. Also, it's got a nice acidity to it, which again is probably the coffee. What was the coffee in this one?
It's a Brazilian coffee. Again, it was a very rich roast. I think that's what we wanted. So it had a lot to sort of work with. So it had to like balance out. So it needed to be quite a powerful coffee. Something like the more fruity blend that we used for caffeine probably would have got lost in a beer like this. So yeah, it's all about bold flavours, this one.
So tell me about coffee at Siren Brewery. Is it an exciting moment in the brewery when you get in, and is there always good coffee on?
Yeah, we've got like a local supplier for Broken Dream for our standard. So I mean, we've always got good coffee on hand. And then when it comes down to the Barista Project, we just get like boxes and bags of weird coffees turning up for us to try.
Yeah. So these were brewed under the influence as well as with great coffee.
I mean, if we're not excited when the coffee's turned up, we're excited after we've tried it all.
Cool. Well guys, thanks so much for taking 15 minutes of slightly jerky, jittery time out with us. We're going to go explore the rest of the festival and just see how tired and wired we can get. But if you get the chance, please do track down some of these beers, because they are completely unique, not what you'd expect from a coffee beer. And let's get away from these big adjunct stouts, except for this one, and see what we can really do with coffee, because there's lots of ways that people are playing with it, and Siren are doing exactly that. We've got one more video from this festival with an amazing beer we did not expect, but otherwise we're signing off from Uppers and Downers. Cheers guys.